Speaker number 3, Al Batinga, Francesca Cabrini. Francesca Cabrini. Al?
What does it take to change the world? A sound body, a background, support. Mother Frances Cabrini had none of these. She was born in 1850, 2 months premature. Now think about that for a second. 1850, not 1950. That was a death sentence for almost everybody. She was given bedridden symptoms. In other words, you're going to raise yourself, your 13 siblings, by the way, 3 of them died before they were 10. Her parents died when she was 20. At the time, she was 20. And she was confined to bedridden status simply because it being 1850. Now, what would you expect from somebody in that state? She did not buy into it. They used to sit at the dinner table and have conversations, and they would talk about China, Far East. And she was in Italy, and she started dreaming about moving to China to help as soon as she could. So as soon as she had the age, she joined an order, or she tried, and they said, nope, too frail, no constitution, unhealthy, can't do it. Waited a short time later, she tried again. Nope, can't do it. What would you do? What would I do? So many people would have quit. She said, okay, I'm starting my own order. And she founded a very famous Catholic order. And she was getting ready to move to China, very excited. And all of a sudden, the Pope 13 said, no, wait a minute. Mother Cabrini, I want to talk to you. And they started having conversations. And the Pope says, no, we're going to send you to America. I've got all these letters here that say there's millions of people out of work in New York. They're suffering from employment challenges. They're suffering from food issues. They're dying over there. So instead of going to China, you're going to go to New York. And although she was saddened, she realized that they had different plans for her. So off to China she went. And by the way, she almost died as a youngster on from drowning. And so she was deathly afraid of the water. But she boarded a ship to cross the Atlantic to come to New York. And as soon as she stepped off the ship and started going to the head person of the diocese there, the father said, no, you can't, because she saw her frail condition. And she says, there is no room for you here. This is what he was told. She was told. And firmly, as she would establish through the years, she says, no, I'm staying. And she built her first orphanage there in New York and moved that forward. And so, by the way, 1889, she was 39 years old by that time, and she was given 2 years to live. She had all kinds of issues with her lymph nodes and all kinds of things that they probably didn't even know what they were at that point in time. And 2 years. And so she said to the doctor, well, let me get going. And he stops her. He says, 2 years if you rest. That didn't stop her. So she went off and started creating. And she said, as she built her first orphanage, she didn't have any money. So she started hustling and started knocking on doors and started talking to donors, all against the diocese, by the way. They were not happy with her. And she hustled, knocked on doors, persuaded donors, went into the streets with the people, with the slums. And wherever she got rejected, she got turned down, she continued to build anyways. By the time she was done, there were hospitals where there was sickness. There were schools where there was ignorance. And there was orphanage where there was despair. She would not stop. Mother Cabrini was a force of will. She crossed the Atlantic 24 times, despite that fear of water. In fact, she had a ticket on the Titanic, but she decided not to wait for that, and she took an earlier ship, which obviously was a good thing for her. She traveled through the United States, South America, Europe, founding hospitals, schools, orphanages, over 67 of them. She was an entrepreneur on top of all of that. She fought for immigrants all over the world, and her 67 locations, 67 companies were all run by women globally. And in 1917, exhausted, she passed away quietly, 28 years after she was given a death sentence of 2 years. So she lived another 28 years moving forward. But her mission did not die with her. Today, her institutions still stand. Her legacy still shapes lives. And in 1946, she was the first United States citizen to be canonized in the Catholic Church. So the lesson for us all, especially me, what does Mother Cabrini teach me? Their weakness is not an excuse. Obstacles are not dead ends. That the world changes when one person refuses to give up. She had every reason to quit, but she didn't. So I ask myself, what's stopping me? If a frail, sickly woman, rejected, ignored, and counted out, could move mountains, then what excuse do I have? Mother Cabrini's life was a testament to tenacity, faith, and fearless action. And if I take just a fraction of her boldness, her courage, her relentless commitment to her mission, there's nothing in the world that I can't do. So I'll leave you with a few quotes of hers. She was speaking to the Pope. And the Pope says, why do you want to go to China? Why not stay right here in Italy and do what you're doing right here, right now? And with her steely dark eyes, she looked at the Pope and said, the world is too small for what I intend to do. So the Pope looks at her and says, well, I'm sure you have all the money you need, don't you? Obviously, facetiously. And she said, begin the mission and the means will come. And he kept it up. He says, wait a minute, Mother Cabrini, you've been told that you're not healthy, you're frail, you're weak. That's your situation. That's your state of being at this point in time. And Mother Cabrini, with her dark eyes, lovingly glared at the Pope and said, we can serve our purpose or we can serve our weakness, not both. And she challenges us all in this room. What kind of world do we want to live in? And what will we do to achieve it?